Okay, what you're going to be doing this week in lab, it's a little bit of a take on what we had done with genetics. You guys filled out a karyotype. We're kind of staying with that. This has to do with inheritance, and so a couple of terms real quick, and you can read through this. Alleles are genes. Humans have 46 chromosomes, so you have 23 chromosomes from mom, 23 from dad. And we barely talked about, well, we haven't yet, blood types. Blood types that are determined by alleles. Like if somebody's blood type A, that means they have two alleles for your blood type. There are two alleles that determine that. And if you got an A from your mom and an O from dad, O is recessive in determining blood types. A and B are dominant. If you're type A blood, you either have an A allele and an O allele, or you have two A alleles. The only way to be type O is if you get two O's. O is a recessive trait. Yeah, dominant characteristics most likely be present in every generation. Yeah, a dominant allele is going to be expressed over a recessive allele. So if you get a trait that is considered recessive, then you have to have both. Get two alleles, basically. The genotype is your genetic code. The phenotype are the traits that are produced as a result of you having your genetic code. Hair color, eye color, height, traits. The things you're going to look at in this, some people, there are little markers that are used for traits or phenotypes. Some people can roll their tongue, some cannot. There's a type of paper. It's called PTC paper. It's called the tasting paper. Some people can taste it, some cannot. That's a genetic phenotype marker. So what you're going to do this week, this is a very simple lab. All right. And I'm going to make this a little bigger. So it goes on, it says, for each of the heritable traits described below, determine which form you have, dominant or recessive for your phenotype. Once again, recessive traits, you have to get 2 copies of those. Okay, here is one. I remember this one in college, detached earlobes. See how that one is not attached to the bottom, whereas this one has some webbing underneath it. Possible alleles, E or little e. Dominant form is detached, recessive is attached. In other words, if you have attached earlobes, you got 2 little e's. If you have attached earlobes, if your earlobes are detached, you got an E and a little e or 2 big E's. Widow's peak, this is what I was talking about. Tongue rolling, unable to roll is recessive, so you get 2 little T's. But just remember, a dominant traits are always expressed over a recessive trait. So if you get 1 dominant allele and 1 recessive allele, you're going to express the dominant trait. Hand folding, that one's interesting. Cleft chin, I think people have seen that. Can fold the tongue backwards. This is called a hitchhiker's thumb. Okay, bent pinky, straight pinky. Yeah, I remember this with toes, talking about mid-digit hair, that kind of thing. So you're going to fill out your chart. So check to see if you have these traits. And then put, yeah, like, okay, dominant would either be that, and then recessive is this. Okay, and then what does the term homozygous mean for a trait? Homozygous mean homozygous recessive. You got 2 of the same alleles. That's what that means. I don't know why it has a 1. That's interesting. It should be a 3. Heterozygous is like big E, little e, different. Define genotype, phenotype. Which traits do you know for sure Which traits do you know for sure that you were homozygous for? Okay. Really can't get those wrong. I don't know why that's a 3, but that's what you're doing in lab this week.